One.
Peace.
All right, so welcome back to another live stream of Draft Day Preppers, your number one spot for fantasy football advice. Today we're going to be reviewing Week 5, some of the studs and duds of the week, people that helped you win, people that honestly kind of killed you in your fantasy football matchups. We'll also hit waivers, and of course, as always, if you have any questions on either YouTube or Twitter, please feel free to write in or reply to us on Twitter or type in the comments in YouTube, and we'll get a notification that you sent in a question and we'll answer it live on air. But I'm your co-host, Evan Roosh, and with me as always, we have Cody Marenthal in the top right.
Yep, top right. That's where I fit.
And then down below, we have Drew Schrader, or BreadPack17 on Twitter. Drew, how we doing? Again, in a different parking lot.
Yep.
From parking lot to parking lot.
I'm in Woodman's today.
We seem to start a rumor that Drew's actually homeless.
Yeah, dude, I was
The Schrader factor.
All he knows is like where you can get free food and fantasy football.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we have a really exciting episode. We're going to start off with just reviewing Week 5. It was honestly an insane week. We saw some of the biggest blowouts, I would say, of the season thus far, particularly with the Bills and the Steelers, to be exact, where, I mean, Josh Allen as a QB1 just didn't even have to play in the second half. And I do have to pat myself on the back here because I went up against the Josh Allen, Gabe Davis stack and actually came out with a dub.
Dude, Gabe Davis having like the most receiving yards in the week with 3 catches is insane.
Unbelievable plays too. Like he against Minka Fitzpatrick as well, who's just a bona fide stud as a safety for the Steelers.
Yep.
Just could not keep up with them with Gabe Davis and got 2 huge plays down the field.
Dude, you might be the only one in here because I got a cop right in front of me and Cody just dipped out.
Do you think the cop also doesn't know what live streaming is and he's going to ask you for like a fishing license?
Yeah, I just get ripped out of the truck. No,
that would be great. That also would be great content, to be quite honest. We go viral for the wrong reasons, like not fantasy football, but views are views, baby.
Yep. Oh, there he is.
Right. We're working on getting Cody back. But in the meantime, Drew, know that you had an absolute, stud guy go off for you this weekend in Austin Eckler. How good did it feel to finally someone pay off that you've been hyping up all off season and all season?
Dude, oh my gosh, it was hard because the thoughts are going through my head. Do I trade him? I can't. I'm 0-3, dude. I can't do this anymore. But I held on to him, and man, the past 2 weeks, he's definitely won me the weeks.
Yeah, he's definitely picked it up, and I mean, 173 total rushing yards, unbelievable amount of passing work as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Which in our league came up to 33.9 total fantasy football points. Absolutely incredible.
Something nice is that Sony Michel was getting like no snaps. So if it's just Joshua Kelly and Austin Eckler, I'm fine with that.
Right. You can live with like a split backfield at times, especially with a high-powered person like Austin Eckler. But when it's a trio, you just can't rely on that at all.
Dude, yeah, that sucks. But yeah, so that was awesome. I'm gonna have to do something about Russell Wilson here, but he'll come up later.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about Let's Ride Broncos country in a little bit, but also some running backs, since we're talking about them, that really popped off. I guess not really popped off, but performed for you. Dameon Pierce definitely had a stellar game. He's just the past few weeks, he just completely owns that backfield. So if you were able to get Dameon Pierce on the cheap, I mean, congrats. And honestly, we'll talk about in our buy-sell segment later. I would be looking to buy Dameon Pierce. You probably get him for a quick swap as well. Maybe just swap someone like Ramondre Stevenson plus a wide receiver asset. You probably get him relatively cheap still.
Yeah, he's I don't know. People are probably a little bit iffy on him because he's getting passing work, but he's not. I don't think he's getting the third down work. I didn't see the game this time, but last week, he was. But I don't know. I really like him. He's an awesome piece to the team. I got him in 2 leagues, so we'll see what I do.
Yeah, definitely. So we did just get a question in, so definitely appreciate Eric putting in a question. He says, need one in a PPR for next week. Damian Harris versus Cleveland, Michael Carter versus Green Bay, Raheem Mostert versus Minnesota, or Devin Singletary versus KC. Do you have any initial thoughts on that, Drew?
What was the first one? Oh, Damian Harris. What did he go down with?
Do not know, but I believe he may miss potentially next week. And with Ramondre Stevenson doing what he did last week or this past week, don't love Damian Harris.
No, I would run through him one more time. Right now, I'm thinking Raheem Mostert for sure against Minnesota.
Right. So we have Damian Harris versus Cleveland, Michael Carter versus Green Bay, Raheem Mostert versus Minnesota, or Devin Singletary versus KC.
Okay, I would go Raheem Mostert 1 and then Singletary 2 because Michael Carter I'm a little scared about, and I don't know. What do you think, Ev?
Personally, well, first off, Cody, what's good? Good to see you again.
How you doing? Don't know what happened. Everything just out. I'm glad to be here. What's up, boys?
We got the technology going. Personally, I would go with Raheem Mostert as well, Drew. I mean, he got, I believe, 19 total touches, 16 carries. No, I believe it was close to 20 plus touches. So like 16-ish carries. A lot of work in the passing game as well. And he just looks to be the, for sure, RB1 in that backfield. Like Chase Edmonds is just non-existent. He's only had 33 rushing yards the last 3 weeks. So like he's just not a thing anymore. He's not. I just don't think he's going to be involved at all going forward. So with these options, I would probably say Raheem Mostert, and the Vikings team still isn't that strong.
Also, if you can get a trade done in the week, you could do a little package with 2 of those guys and upgrade one too.
Who do you think you would be targeting, like to package someone?
Maybe like Raheem Mostert off the big week, and Michael Carter off the big week. How many points did he have?
Michael Carter had.
He had like 2 touchdowns, right?
Yep, and he had 21 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 16 fantasy points.
Yeah, I mean, I would go for, I don't know, if you could pull out, I don't know, maybe like one of those 3rd round running backs or 2nd round running backs. Maybe I don't know. Nothing coming to my head right now. Miles Sanders, maybe.
Do you think you could get anything for Najee Harris for that?
Dude, I wouldn't even touch Najee.
You could, but I'm worried about him.
Dude, Najee's almost droppable.
I mean, I'm running back 29 on the year. That is rough considering he's probably pick 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Overall, even.
Dude, Jaylen Warren's looking good.
Yeah, that as well. But all right, so I guess consensus to answer that question, we'd definitely say Raheem Mostert, given those 4 options versus Minnesota. Yep. Another option, I mean, you could look at is Devin Singletary versus Kansas City. That'll probably be an absolute shootout.
Sure.
And Devin Singletary gets so much passing work. But personally, I would go with Raheem Mostert as that safe option.
Yep.
Didn't Benjamin have a big week?
Yeah.
Yeah, he scored a touchdown. I don't know if it was huge, but both the other running backs went down, so he'll be a top waiver wire.
Yeah, that's something to monitor.
Mm-hmm. Some other notable, we'll just stick in the running back main lane here that you should look at that had big games. I mean, we talked about Raheem Mostert had an absolutely great game. Leonard Fournette know, Drew, you're a huge Rashard White fanatic on this show.
Yep.
What do you think his chances are of even getting in at this point? Just because Leonard Fournette, I mean, 2 total touchdowns, 56 yards rushing, and had 11 catches.
Um,
Talk about a workload.
yeah, I mean, I would still grab Rashad White and hold him, but I mean, Leonard Fournette, I want him. Leonard Fournette's looking good. It's just that I said it the whole time is like he looks good, he's doing good. It's just I don't know how long he can hold up getting all this workload, and we'll see. But I don't know. Rashad White looks good too, so I'd buy both of them.
Other running back performers, Derrick Henry. Now, this man, I actually heard a crazy stat, if you will, that every time it rains or, snows in Vermont
Yeah.
on game day, that Derrick Henry goes just absolutely nuclear. Apparently every time, like during the season when it snows in Vermont, it's just one of those random fantasy football things. But yeah, unbelievable. Every time there's snow in Vermont, he goes off. We have another kind of follow-up question here, again from Eric writing in. He also wants to talk about Alvin Kamara, which is someone that I was going to bring up as well. Basically saying, do you trade him or do you keep him at this point? Like he did finally have a good 20-point game. He was used quite a bit, played in basically all the snaps as well. Do you hold on to him or do you try to capitalize on the name and good game? And personally, in my mind, like I'm in this same situation in one of my leagues. I'm thinking about coupling Kamara and like this is a real life example, Kamara and like Mike Williams, and trying to go out and get like a Cooper Kupp or Justin Jefferson or a different like top 5 wide receiver option. One of those like key names I know are going to basically produce 15 to 20 points for me regardless. Like, what's your guys' mindset on that?
I personally, I would probably try and depends what backs are out there. I would it's his like first good week in like a while, or even at all for the whole year. He played. Mm-hmm. He had 6 points and 4.5 points, and he's coming off a great game, but even up the most yards in the NFL. So I feel like that's kind of an outlier. You might want to take it, seeing the big number, hoping he's back, and maybe they're desperate for a running back. Back in return, I don't really know who. It really depends.
Yeah, me personally, I am. If I am selling him, I'm definitely moving up in the running back category, trying to get maybe like a Dalvin Cook or a Derrick Henry or a Eckler or JT, Christian McCaffrey. If not, I'm keeping him. I don't know. I think he's looking good. Like, and he's back. He had his rib injury, so I don't know. I was happy with the game, and Taysom Hill took all his freaking rushing touchdowns. So yeah. I could see him going off for more in the future.
Who would you rather have at this point for the rest of the season? Alvin Kamara or like Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Kamara
or Breece Hall?
Breece Hall.
Ooh, all right. Dude. Breesty boys on this pod.
Yeah, Breece Hall's...
it was Kamara's first good game of the year against the defense that gives out the most yards. Like, the only way he had 3 touchdowns. Like, they're taking touches away from Kamara. I'm personally looking for, if I have him. I mean, if you don't have another option, yeah, you're fine keeping him. But you could argue. I mean, we'll see how Clyde plays tonight. You could argue if Clyde he's kind of their guy. You could maybe move or try and do that, but I don't know. Kamara guy this year, he hasn't shown much.
I'd get Leonard Fournette for Kamara.
Yeah. I'm still like a package. I would look at the package up for a better running back.
Yeah.
I think you could honestly get away with doing a Kamara for Leonard Fournette just one-on-one. Probably don't even need probably just an even swap if you can, or Kamara and some cheap wide receiver 3 for depth if the other team needs it. But personally, I'm looking to cash in on his value at this point, just from name and a 20-point game. So that's what I would do.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm currently doing. And again, it does suck that one bad thing about us doing this show is that I literally just said that, and I know no one's going to accept it.
Yeah.
I'll give away all the tips. Try to win.
Can you run that one back again, Cody?
Sorry, I don't know if I was lagging. I just made a joke about we're still going to end up winning our leagues.
I'm currently 4-0, going to be 5-0 in the league that all three of us are together. So I guess it doesn't matter too much.
Dude,
I think I'm 4-1 in that one.
I don't know, dude. My team.
Oh, Drew, what about you?
I'm 2-3, baby, and I'm feeling good about my team. My team is deep.
That's true.
I'm keeping it that way through the bye weeks, I think, and then probably moving up, getting a couple good pieces.
Mm-hmm. Some wide receiver studs now. Of course, you're Justin Jefferson and Cooper Kupp. Cody, I know you somehow were able to get. Well, you kept Cooper Kupp and drafted Justin Jefferson, but must be nice having easy 40 points a week just from 2 players, almost guaranteed.
Last week it was 50 actually, so
not bad, not bad at all. Some other wide receiver standouts. We had Jacoby Myers, surprisingly, with 20.6 points. That turned into 111 yards and 1 receiving touchdown. So absolutely incredible game from him. Granted, he was playing the Lions, and the Lions defense is just rough. And I can't imagine how is that defensive coordinator still there.
Yeah, not sure. They actually give up the second most yards in the Lions.
Seattle.
Do they give? No, those yards.
Okay.
Other standouts for wide receiver, Tyler Lockett had an incredible game with 5 catches, 104 yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. And Drew, do you think that we owe the entire Seattle Seahawks fan base and organization an apology at this point for our preseason slander of them?
Yeah, I didn't. I thought they were going to be terrible, but man, dude, Gino looks good. And
he looks very good.
And also, like, DK and Tyler Lockett are holding it down. Like, they're good wide receivers.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Do you think that's one of the big reasons why Russ hasn't had success? Because the caliber receiver just isn't there? Or do you think that – let's just dive right into Russ because, Drew, I know you want to –
Dude, I'm so fired up. And now he's blaming this on some shoulder injury. Get out of my face, dude. I'm punting him to the waiver wire. That guy isn't touching my lineup until I know they got a really good schedule coming up in the middle weeks, but maybe I'll dive back into it later. I don't want to hear any shoulder things, but his wide receivers are good, dude. Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy are good wide receivers. Maybe not the caliber of DK and Tyler Lockett, but I don't know. Maybe offensive line play. I don't know. How's their offensive line playing? I don't know.
They just left tackle to season-ending injury.
Yeah, I don't know.
And now with Javonte Williams out, I do not like. That's just a huge playmaker that they just lost for quite some time. So
yeah.
Would you realistically drop Russell Wilson to play Geno Smith like this upcoming week?
Yeah, I would.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Could you imagine us talking about this in the preseason and just none of us would have taken that seriously?
No.
Well, I picked up Dak, so I think honestly I might just keep him and hope he turns out decent later on once he gets better. But
You mean my
well,
MVP pick from earlier this year?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I picked him up off the waiver wire, so I'll just stream QBs until then.
I don't know if we talked about him yet. Do we talk about Gabriel Davis yet?
Yeah, yeah, we did.
Okay.
We did.
Sorry.
And also, I patted myself on the back for surviving that stack of Josh Allen, Gabe Davis. Sorry about it, Reeves, if you're watching this.
Dude.
He put up
Other
some Moss numbers.
What's that?
He put up some Randy Moss numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
Other wide receiver standouts, Stephon Diggs went absolutely crazy. Well, actually, back to the running backs real quick. Jeff Wilson Jr., 120 yards, 1 rushing touchdown. What's your level of confidence with Jeff Wilson Jr. the rest of the year? Do you think he's just for sure starter?
You pronounced Tevin Coleman's name wrong.
No.
No.
Must have just misspelled it, yeah.
Yeah. Rest of season, I don't know. I'm holding on until it ends. That's what I'm doing.
Gotta stay in the flames.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you could trade him for a good running back that you know is going to be there, but I don't know when Elijah Mitchell's coming back. Week 9 or something.
November.
Sure. Dude. I keep Jeff Wilson and I keep riding with him, especially through these bye weeks. You're gonna need someone like that.
Oh gosh, yeah, the bye weeks coming up. We'll definitely talk about that in just a second. But any other do you want to cover quarterback studs? I mean, we talked about running backs and wide receivers that popped out to me. From the quarterback side of things, I mean, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts did their thing. Any other Geno Smith? Yeah, again, I gotta remember to put respect on his name. We actually had Clint write in. We did have Clint write in saying, "Good for you, Evan." After I publicly apologized to the Seahawks fan, takes a big man. Even though I didn't even think that Geno Smith was going to start the season as the starter. I thought it was going to be who's the backup? I honestly forgot his name already.
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock, yes.
Yeah.
Wow, did I have some mixed words for him before the season started. Not a lot of appreciation. All right. Do you guys have anyone else that you want to shout out or just point out, I guess, from good performers, or do you want to talk about people that may have just underperformed?
Yeah, let's go underperformed.
I gotta talk about Jared Goff here because I started him in a couple of leagues. Good. He put up 36 last week, 15 the week off, then 28 week 2. It was like I was hoping for a good week from him. 6 points, guys. He didn't complete the ball more than 20 times.
Yeah, that's tough.
Not good.
In a game that they were behind the entire time, too.
I mean, I wouldn't worry about it too much. We've seen him be good. It's just like with those waiver wire pickup guys, like you can have high games and low games. Like, I don't know. I would definitely plug and play him still later in the season.
Yeah. I just had to air him out, trust him, and it goes against every part of my body to do that. But
yeah. Oh, actually,
and then
sorry, Cody.
I said Amon-Ra didn't do anything.
Yeah, dude, but Josh Reynolds, he's got that rapport with him from the Rams. He's put up like 11 points in the past like 3 or 4 games.
I think it's back-to-back weeks for.
That's actually pretty nuts. I mean, I never would have saw that coming. So, whatever. get to some more duds.
For sure. Or just why we hate these players, apparently. Chase Edmonds. We
sorry.
talked about him a little bit.
Droppable.
Literally 0.1 fantasy points. He got you, if you started him, he got you a yard. And
So
that only applies like our league scoring format where a yard equals 0.1 points. So in most leagues, he gave you a big old goose egg.
I mean, I think he's definitely droppable, but also I could see him getting a little more work once Tua gets back. I feel like when they had the third string QB and like they're just like, let's just pound the ball with Raheem Mostert.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, he's hard to start. So I don't know how much I could keep him on my fantasy team. Maybe try to trade him to the Raheem Mostert owner.
Yeah, just so you for sure have that backfield locked down. I could see doing that, but yeah, I mean, I'm never playing Chase Edmonds. I'm probably going to be playing Raheem Mostert this upcoming week, just with bye weeks, just in
Sure.
one of my leagues, and like I feel completely confident about it.
Yeah. And if you're never gonna play Chase Edmonds, get him off your team. And if you can trade him to that Raheem Mostert owner, that's better than just dropping him because maybe you could get a little bit of a piece back.
Yeah, definitely agree.
All right.
Some other duds. CD Lamb, honestly, 5 catches, only 53 yards, 7.8 points. After the last 2 weeks where it looked like he was kind of turning it around, I would consider that a little bit of a dud game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. What was his official stat line?
For CD, it was 5 catches, 53 yards. I'm not sure how many targets though. I was unable to.
Looks like
I was watching that game. I'm not worried about him one bit. It's just like he had a down week and he's got Cooper Rush as quarterback, so he's gonna pop off once Dak's back. That's for sure.
Another dud, and he's been dudding all year. DJ Moore. Is he droppable
Dude,
or
no?
No, I think he's on. There's a lot of talks about since Matt Rule, coach of the Carolina Panthers, got fired today.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talks that Carolina is just going to rebuild mode. They're going to start shopping Christian McCaffrey. They're going to start shopping all their assets. So,
dude,
I would definitely
bring him to the Packers. And he had like 8.5 points this game.
Yeah,
bad.
He did fine. I mean, he still has talent. I'm just laughing because you say bring them to the Packers every time we talk about wide receiver. Just
any wide receiver.
mildly unhappy at their current place or just minor trade talks.
Yeah, but I just hold him in case they trade him, dude, because him going to any other team, he'll be good.
Startable, right? Like if there's someone that's like not startable for you guys, right?
Yeah, I would just hold him for that trade piece, and then that's about it. It's pretty impossible to start him. But during these bye weeks, you might have to just toss him in there.
Yeah, that's honestly true. There's gonna be a lot of people just with how their drafts went. If they haven't made moves yet, they're gonna be forced to start them. And could never be me.
No. Another dud who's been dudding for a while was I don't know if he completely dudded, but Jamar Chase.
Yep. Yeah, that's who I was gonna bring up as well.
Dude, I thought he was going to nuclear this game. They played zone and he was just having a rough time. I mean, he was getting little short passes by the line of scrimmage, but man, I just wanted a couple deep ones for him. T. Higgins, how about that dud?
Yeah,
help me in
Yeah.
one of my leagues I was going.
Yeah, T. Higgins, nothing. Tyler Boyd ended up with like roughly 5 points. So just overall, all in all, a bad game for Bengals receivers, except for Hayden Hurst, their tight end.
I was happy for him. I mean, he got to score against the Ravens, but
yeah, his old team. The revenge game narrative even applies to tight ends.
Yeah, dude, Hayden Hurst looks good this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, back-to-back weeks with a touchdown, and I never really drafted tight end high, and I was able to find this year Hayden Hurst and Tyler Higbee just off the waivers, and it's been turning out rather well. No complaints.
Yeah. Yep. Another one I had was Jalen Waddle. Did he get banged up or no? It was just Tyreek.
I think just Tyreek was seen in a walking boot on the sideline. Jalen
Yeah.
Waddle, I'm not quite sure. I don't believe so.
Yeah, he had like 3 points this week and 4 points the week before, so I wouldn't worry at all about him once Tua gets back.
What do you guys think about Michael Pittman Jr.? I mean, 5 catches, 59 yards in a PPR format. That's roughly, that's roughly 8.5 points. Michael Pittman Jr. was drafted like typically 3rd round. What do you guys do with Michael Pittman Jr.? Do you have any confidence in him going forward? I mean, just the Colts passing game in general and offense in general has been so horrendous, I think.
Well,
especially this last week, only scoring 12 points.
That game was the worst game I've ever watched.
I watched the first 2
NFL.
drives. I'm like, I can catch the highlights on this one. I don't need to watch it all.
The worst thing is I had Russell Wilson and Cortland Sutton, so I had to sit through that whole freaking game.
Oof.
Yep.
Yeah, that's tough.
Alec Pierce, though. Alec Pierce, he seemed like he had a good game. Points.
For sure.
He seems to were looking for him instead of Pittman. I liked him coming out of college.
Yeah. Pittman, he's definitely not returning your draft value, that's for sure. And I don't know if he ever will this year because I don't know, but he's definitely a decent wide receiver too and stuff. Like I don't know, but he's definitely not giving you those huge games that you thought he was going to maybe break into the top 10, top 8 wide receivers this year. I don't see that happening anymore.
Yeah, I mean, unless they drastically turn around, I don't see that happening. I mean, that's another guy that personally I'm looking to couple with another asset and try to trade for, probably move laterally, to be honest, just to get someone maybe in a more active and more high-powered offense. Maybe even couple him for like DK Metcalf even. Again, this is the last time I'm going to talk about the Seahawks today, but that'd be an option.
Yeah.
Probably in the range of players you can get. All right. Any more commentary about Sunday's games, studs, etc.? Otherwise, we can move on to just some.
Sorry, Evan. That roughing the passer call in the Falcons game, that was awful.
Thank you. That was the worst call I've ever seen, dude. That guy is an idiot.
Like, people make jokes about like Brady, Rodgers, and some of like the calls, but like, my goodness, that was like game deciding. Wow.
Yeah, like the refs just took it in their hands to do the outcome of the game, like they love to do.
And I heard
doing to help my
Brady
fantasy team.
Yeah, well, they were helping their fantasy team.
Brady's beat Atlanta like every single time, I think, since, or maybe every time he's played him, or I think the stat was since he's been in Tampa. But dude, that was one they could have stole. That sucks. I was livid.
Definitely. Do you guys want to move on to potential waiver wire pickups?
Yeah, sure. I got it. Yeah, I got a bunch at each position.
Nice. Let's just start with, I would say, running backs. And Drew, do you want to start us off?
Yeah. Well, I guess I don't know if he's the top guy of the week. I got to think through it. Maybe you guys have someone, but you got to look at Eno again this week because Connor and Darrell Williams both went down.
Yeah, and he's just gonna get all that work, being just the de facto person that's left. I mean, James Conner, James Conner is disappointed thus far in fantasy regardless. But I mean, if there's only one person getting the work, like if Eno's the only one getting the work, I could definitely see picking him up and actually playing him, especially with some buys coming up.
Cody?
And for reference, just real quick, some of the teams that are on bye this upcoming week, we have the Texans, we have the Tennessee Titans, we have Detroit Lions on bye, and then the Las Vegas Raiders. I believe that those are the only 4 that are on bye. So again, that's the oh my goodness, sorry. We have the Raiders, the Titans, the Texans, and then the Lions all on bye. So keep that in mind when you're looking up to do some pickups.
Yep.
Well, all right, Cody, you have any running backs?
Yeah, running back I got. I mean, it's going to be a pretty obvious one. Well, actually, here. It's right here. He's in 47.5% of the league. He was thrusted into play because of an injury, and that's Kenneth Walker III. They're a big theme of our shows, apparently. No, but Penny broke his leg, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've seen that. So he's most likely done. Walker, I thought was even going to take over with Penny was injured a little bit before the game. I thought Kenneth Walker would finally step up and become that guy because I mean they drafted him in the second round eventually, and let's see, he went for 8 carries, 8 pretty good clip. That's pretty efficient. He had the long
he had a 60-yard run. Yeah.
Yeah. Seahawks might have the running backs, I guess. If there are even are those because they're running backs, but yeah. That Walker. They still run the ball a decent amount in Seattle. And I don't think it's going to take much at all from Kenneth Walker. He might end up being like the straight up.
I agree. In one of my bigger money leagues, I actually just picked him up off the waiver wire. Last week I texted Clint about him. I was like, "Should I pick this guy up? What do you think?" And he was like, "Yeah, go for it. Stash him." So I did, and I'm pretty pumped about it.
I mean, with him being go ahead.
Sorry. Also, in that league, I got Dameon Pierce, so I'm gonna need some running back help for next week, and I can't wait to slap him in.
Yeah. I mean, Ken Walker's honestly, if he continues playing like he did this last week and just being the de facto running back in that backfield, he could be like a fantasy league winner just from picking him up for most likely nothing.
Yeah.
You were able to get him early enough, that is.
Yeah, I would. If you got Fab, I'd definitely burn quite a bit on him if he's on your waiver wire.
I'd probably do at least like 60 to 70 if I needed him.
Yeah, for sure. He's one of those guys that you can.
Mine for this week for running backs is kind of a little bit of a spot start. You have to monitor to see if, of course, Jonathan Taylor or Nyheim Hines is still, if they're both still out. I mean, Nyheim Hines he got ruled out because of concussion, and the NFL as a whole is being extremely more cautious with concussion protocol. In fact, I heard that Teddy Bridgewater this past week actually passed concussion protocol, but just due to of course, it's the Dolphins, right? As well as just the NFL being more cautious. They wouldn't let him back in.
Yeah.
So with that, my just little waiver wire pickup to look at is Deion Jackson, running back for the Indianapolis Colts. If he's the only, you do have to monitor the 2 other individuals to see if they're still out for this week. But if he plays the entire game, I think that he's going to get incredible work. I mean, last week in their game, he got 13 rushing attempts and 4 catches on 4 targets for just over, or excuse me, 491 total yards from scrimmage. I mean, if you have Jonathan Taylor and you're looking for someone to just easily slap in there, Deion Jackson is probably a good bet for you, just to play it safe. And of course, if JT plays or if Nyheim Hines plays, scrap everything I just said, but Deion Jackson could be a good pivot.
Sure.
Yeah, I like it. He had 10 points last game.
Another wild one I was looking at that was weird. I thought he was too old to even play anymore. Was maybe keep your eye on Tevin Coleman. Maybe he's worth a stash.
Yeah.
Just through bye weeks. I mean, he might be the running back too there. If there's an injury to Jeff Wilson, he put up like 20 points this week. I was like, what the heck? That's Tevin Coleman. I think they're playing it. Hey, they're playing Atlanta next game, so revenge game, dude. They might just give all the work to him.
Love a good revenge game narrative. It is
Dude.
my favorite thing.
That would be tempting if I could play him next week.
Mhm. All right, receivers. Drew, you want to start us off with these ones as well?
Yeah, this guy I actually played last week in one of my other leagues, and I was pretty pumped about it. Was Devin Duvernay.
Yep.
Dude, in this game he looked like a mini Deebo Samuel. He was getting rushing yards. He was getting, Lamar. It drove me nuts. Lamar missed him on like 3 deep balls.
I
Lamar
know.
was just missing him, dude. He could have had a monster game. Devin Duvernay looked good, and he was returning. I don't know, dude. He's got some good upside, especially if Bateman's out. I don't know how long he's gonna be out. He's got a foot injury, but dude, Devin Duvernay in a flex, I'd play him.
Yeah, I mean Duvernay had 8 total touches. Like that's incredible for a wide receiver too. You're just not going to get that a ton.
Yeah, he's actually only rostered in 24.9% of fantasy. He's a 7th ranked fantasy receiver.
Yeah, that's nuts, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, definitely someone that I'm putting in the waiver application right now in our league. So just a heads up to everyone else. Cody, you want to give the people a pick?
Yeah. I mentioned his name. Terrible offense. Colts suck. They're looking for a time that Pierce has kind of showed up in a game plan and showed up for them in the game. He had 9 gear. That was their only positives like all game was anytime that good things happen. And for a team that's looking for answers offensively, maybe look to stash Alec Pierce. Maybe you could talk yourself into starting him against Jacksonville next. Play against them week 2, so you can't really like look at that and see how he did there. But I'm definitely looking to add because he was like the only bright spot of that game.
Yeah, he was the only one that really, really flashed in a game that again was 12-9 and all field goals. Sick.
For sure.
Yeah. Right.
I got something to say. I just saw a sleeper pop up. He said Antonio Gibson has a really good shot at getting some returning work this week.
Hey, it was a sick 5 weeks where he was able to give me some points. But yeah, I think going forward, Antonio Gibson's just not going to be used. That's running back for the Washington Commanders. But
dude, it was sick.
Do you think Brian Robinson's still out there in a bunch of leagues?
No. I think probably this past week he probably got scooped up in most leagues, but it was sick that he came out to Many Men by 50 Cent.
That was cold.
I can't imagine.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was nice.
That song is just like knows everything it was. It's awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool.
My wide receiver waiver wire pickup for this week is a guy that I'm actually pretty surprised is still out there, and that's going to be Josh Reynolds for the Detroit Lions. We talked about him a little bit already. He's been involved, he's currently rostered at roughly 25% of ESPN leagues. The last 3 weeks, he's had 10 targets, 8 targets, and 10 targets. I know Amon-Ra has missed a game in there, but we're talking 96 yards in these same 3 games, 96 yards, 81 yards and a touchdown, and 92 yards. So his usage is definitely on the up and up. I think personally, it's probably going to keep on going up. I know we did mention that the Lions are on bye, but that also means that you could probably get Josh Reynolds, a guy who's going to be, I mean, currently he's the wide receiver 23 overall on the year in half-point PPR scoring formats. And with him having the bye, you could easily get him for maybe $3 if, for example, if you're doing a fab waiver wire process, you can get him really, really on the cheap. And then a different one, because of course, can't give the people just someone that's on bye. I do also think that Marvin Jones Jr. is someone to look at this week. The Colts defense is just not what it used to be. Of course, you do have to remember that he is the third option there. But I do think that Marvin Jones Jr. can give you something. Last week, he had 11 targets for 104 yards. Not too shabby.
No.
But you can look at him for a spot start.
Actually, I just looked down at who I wrote down. I missed a running back that I wanted to mention. He's not someone that you're going to play immediately, but maybe later during bye weeks, check him out. Is Gus Edwards is coming back soon. And I know he had like a crazy yard per carry average. What was it, last year and the year before? So maybe that's someone that you could stash on your bench and just see what happens.
I like it. Do you guys have any tight end waiver wire pickups? I mean, personally, Hayden Hurst, if he's out there, he's almost a guarantee at this point. Well, I'll never say he's a tight end's a guarantee, but he's, I think, in a landscape where it's kind of all mediocrity in terms of fantasy football points. I think Hayden Hurst is pretty good pickup there.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much the same each week as like Hayden Hurst and Njoku, Tyler Conklin. I don't know.
Conklin gave you a big old fat goose egg this past week.
Yeah, well,
in a game that they scored over 30 points.
Okay, well, maybe not him. I don't know. It's like the same tight ends each week that people are looking at on the waiver wire.
Mm-hmm.
I would just get off the Colts tight ends though, because we thought that might be a thing and doesn't really seem to be.
Yeah, definitely not. And even when they do catch the touchdowns, it's a rotation of 3. So instead of a running back by committee, they have a tight end by committee, which I want no part of.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Quarterbacks. Any streaming quarterbacks for you guys? Personally, I love Carson Wentz coming up.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz, currently he's on he is the QB9 on the year, and he's playing Chicago coming up this week. Ooh. So that's just he had 359 passing yards this past week. I could see the repeat against Chicago's defense that just isn't there. As long as they can keep him, not sacked every other drive, we should be good to roll.
Yeah. Dude, his weapons are insane. Yep.
He plays good against bad defenses, and then it's good defenses he doesn't do good. Easily predictable. Next week, he's gonna have a fantastic day. 30 points. 30 points guarantee.
Ooh, 30-point guarantee.
Uh-huh.
Very bold.
Yep.
Very bold. Some other options that you may be looking at. I mean, we talked about Geno Smith quite a bit already on this show. Any other ones that you guys may be looking at?
Maybe not a streamer, but he might be. He might have been dropped. Is maybe go pick up Dak and stash him if you need some quarterback help. That's all I had. I mean, I wrote down Geno and Wentz.
Yeah, that's pretty much all there is out there. I mean, but...
Jared Goff when he comes back, but that's not this week.
Would you guys look at Daniel Jones at all against the Baltimore defense that really isn't that great?
No.
I know that was stupid. Why did I even say it?
That'd be
Dude,
tough.
Yeah.
dude, if I was looking at Daniel Jones, I probably wouldn't even be paying attention to that fantasy league.
It's not like
Right. Yeah. Then it might just be over.
he doesn't have major boom potential, but his pick is Jimmy G against Atlanta.
Sure.
He's been a steady like point per game guy, and he's going against Atlanta, so you'd hope that he would at least for something that at least consistent. He'll give you those consistent numbers. He's going against a bad team. But yeah, I would look for him if you're really down bad.
All right. I think that kind of concludes the waiver wire pickups. Again, if you have any questions on potential pickups, just let us know. We're probably going to wrap this live up relatively soon, but just let us know through all of our socials. But I know that we wanted to talk about some buy and sells, the people that we're targeting, people that we're looking to sell, just some different options for people to look at because it is trade season. Remember, people, you can always do trades in your leagues. There's some leagues that or some leagues in the past that I've done that I've literally just won on trades.
Yep.
So definitely, even if you're 4-0 or you're 0-4 or 0-5, I guess I should say at this point, a trade can definitely help and bring you right back. So you guys, sorry, puppy in the background. Do you guys have any people that you're targeting currently?
Yeah. I got a bunch, so
Fire away.
let's start here. Well, I'll just start off. We already talked about him a little bit. Jamar Chase has been having some dud weeks, and I think now's the time to go get him before he pops off because it's gonna happen. We saw what he could do. We know it's gonna happen.
Yeah, you just have to think like the amount of talent in the offense, it's gonna start clicking. It almost has to be. I know Jamar Chase, maybe defenses have maybe found him out or kind of have like the game plan, the blueprint to defend against him, but I just can't see him not producing going forward.
Especially once Higgins gets back. They can't guard them both.
Right.
Off the top of my head, shoot, I don't even really know.
I got like 8 more.
I would say maybe Jeff. I think he's gonna like be the guy in that backfield. Not too worried about Tevin Coleman. The thing is, when Elijah Mitchell comes back, which I think was sometime in November that I heard, I have a Mitchell in one of my leagues. That's kind of another motivation, so I can have that flexibility. But yeah, I mean, I think he's the guy. 2 back-to-back solid weeks, 20 this week, 13 last week. Carries, more efficient running this week. He doesn't get much work out of the back catching and receiving, but that's someone who I'm looking for because I mean, from the same team that we have always known them to be a hard-nosed, like not power run team, a zone team that's just physical and is going to run the ball a ton. Established. Yeah, I'm looking at Jeff Wilson Jr. a lot to trade for.
I like it, and I think he's still at that tier, if you will, that you don't really have to give up a ton.
Yeah.
Maybe another similar type running back. Maybe even like a Jamal Williams in like a piece for like a Jeff Wilson Jr. I could see that working out. Some players that I'm targeting, James Robinson. I really like his utilization. I like the way that Jaguars have performed thus far, and James Robinson has just been crucial, absolutely crucial to their success thus far. And then I'll fire off another one. We talked about him. I believe we talked about him actually before we even started here. Ramondre Stevenson. I think that's just going to be his backfield going forward. Even more if Damian Harris does happen to miss time. I don't believe he will miss extended or he'll miss extended time. But either way, I think I'm targeting Ramondre Stevenson. I think he's going to be almost a guaranteed, running back 2 for the rest of the year for sure. So top 24 running back.
I agree, dude. Ramondre looked good. Someone coming off a bad game, same or in the Jags is Christian Kirk. I think Kirk is going to be – he's good. I feel like he's going to end up at top 20 throughout the year. And he had a dud week, so I think now's the time to go grab him.
Christian Kirk has just had such a – just because the Jaguars just haven't gotten primetime spots, I think. But he's been having a great season. Just no one talks about it other than the in the weeds fantasy football players like us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also looking at maybe some of those QBs that are coming back, maybe some of their weapons. I was looking at D-Hop, CD Lamb, and Michael Gallup. I think you can all go trade for them right now because they're about to be set in stone. They're going to be good after that.
What do you guys do with Zeke? I know this isn't the buy sell, but
yeah,
I mean, if you have Zeke, do you try to sell him on name alone to see if you can get? I mean, you probably could only get like a running back 2 for him, if anything. Or are you looking to keep him just with Dak coming back?
So I don't have Zeke in any leagues, but me thinking off the top of my head, what I would try to do is I'd probably try to hold him, wait and see how he is with Dak back, maybe wait for a blow-up game where he gets the ball right at the goal line, maybe 2 touchdowns in that game, and then dump him off later in the season. Because right now you're not going to be able to trade him for anything where you drafted him.
No.
But
No.
that's just me thinking.
Yeah. No, I like to kind of have his value built very high. I mean, he's gotten carries and just hasn't. It's pretty bad.
Yeah. Tony Pollard just looks so much better of an athlete.
So wait till week 7 after they play Detroit, and then he's gonna have a big game because they are a terrible defense.
Sure, there you go. Exactly. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Some other guys to target or even sell. Would you be targeting? Excuse me. Goodness, that was gross. My bad. Would you, with Aaron Jones? I know, of course, we're all Packer fans here. Last week he had a relatively okay game. 9 total fantasy points off of 63 rushing yards, 17 passing or receiving yards. Would you think, maybe especially being in a Packers-based league, do you think you could trade Aaron Jones and maybe a piece for a running back 1, such as maybe a Joe Mixon or even someone better?
Yeah, I think you could.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I still like Aaron Jones, dude. I'm a Packer fan, man. I feel like Dylan.
He's just
I feel
itching
like Dylan.
for more. He's been the most efficient, a running back that has a certain amount of carries, minimum of 30 or something, 4 yards a carry, and they just go away from him for whatever reason. I mean, that I would hope that they eventually figure that out. So I mean, you could maybe try all that happy with Aaron Jones' numbers. I'm not sure what he is as far right now. It looks like, okay, he's 12, so he still have. I just feel like watching the games because, I mean, that's what we all do because we're Packer fans. There's out there for him, and every time he touches the ball, positive play, positive.
Yep. Yeah.
But, yeah.
I feel like AJ Dillon might be the one to sell in that offense.
Yeah. He hasn't really done much. He's the opposite, averaging 3.9 yards a carry.
Yeah.
What about just real quick? What about like a keep? Would you keep this person, trade them, or cut them?
Gotcha.
Allen Robinson.
Cut.
Yep,
Punt.
I think he's shoot into a river,
Gotcha.
just in a big cannon.
Dude, just get that temptation off your team, dude. It's not gonna happen. And you're not, and when it does happen, you're not gonna have him in your lineup. So just get him off your team.
Keep, trade, or cut George Kittle, tight end for the 49ers.
Keep.
Because
Trade.
name and all other trade maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you could trade
talk
him.
about-
I mean,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say he's currently the 39th ranked tight end, averaging 4 points.
Yeah, trading's definitely the route to go with Kittle because you don't want to play him. And like maybe you can get some name value, and half those guys off the waiver wire are producing like double his points. So I would definitely try to maybe package him and move up somewhere. But yeah,
What about
someone else I was
Darren Waller?
dude.
He's been
Trade me
pretty
him,
tough
Cody.
bar.
Cody,
No.
trade me him. Dude, you don't Dude, I know you don't want him, so just trade him to me, dude. Every time I ask to trade, you just think the world of him, but then you talk sauce.
No, I'll trade him. Usually you come for my back.
It's just like that
Dude.
live bait that Cody just likes to dangle, but won't
Yeah,
give Darren Waller.
Dude, don't you like David Njoku?
Love David Njoku.
I mean, he's been a streaming, that's for sure.
Mm.
Dude. Let's
work.
do it.
Let's work something out.
Yeah.
I'll get with
Alright,
your
let's
people.
do
You
it.
get with my people. We'll figure it out.
All right.
Wow,
Two
live
other-
trade deal.
Two other sells that I wanted to just spit out before I got to go here is probably Hollywood because he's looking really good, but I'm a little scared now because he might just be good. But D-Hop's coming back. I think you could probably get something for him right now. I don't know. That's someone I was thinking about, and also Raheem Mostert. I think you can sell him pretty high right now. Other than that, keep him and use him. Like he's gonna be good for you, but I'm worried that once Tua comes back, maybe it turns out to be a little bit more of a committee, a little bit murky of a backfield. But he looks good right now, and I was worried maybe that was because of the third string quarterback coming in. But I think you can get some good value for him right now if you do trade him.
100%.
Yeah, that's interesting. We talked about him before. Like I have Raheem Mostert and would love to keep him and plug him in. I mean, I kind of have to this week with buys, but most likely we'll probably end up shipping him away for some pieces.
Yeah, I mean he's going to be good for your team. He's going to be useful. I'm just thinking off the high week, you could probably move up and running back with him.
Right. All right. Well, Cody, do you have any other buy or sells, or else we can wrap this up?
Right now we can wrap her up. I think we touched base on just about everybody. Maybe say that a sell comes to mind, and we actually talked about it Tuesday when it was, and we predicted right on trying to sell high on was 5 first week, 3.5 second week, 8.5 second week. Seattle, a lot of people seem to do that. 36 points against Seattle high. He's not going to do that again. That's like one of the better fantasy games from a tight end. New England, one catch, 6 yards.
Which is crazy because New
sell-
England's been so bad against tight ends. Sorry for cutting you off, Cody.
Yeah, sell Hawk for sure.
All right, perfect. Well, I think that'll wrap it up.
I got.
It's
think
so
that'll
it's so It's so funny to watch Cody's mouth moving, but no words coming out.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
sorry guys.
All right. Well, that'll do it for us today on the live stream. We may be doing another one later this week. We'll let you know. To stay most up to date, follow us on Twitter at Draft Preppers or TikTok and YouTube, Instagram at Draft Day Preppers Podcast. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.
All right. Later, guys.